Millionaire almost dies crossing the street. Then the little beggar who saves him reveals this. Tom Blackwood was a titan of industry, a self-made man who had risen from humble beginnings to become a legend in the world of technology. His name, synonymous with innovation and entrepreneurial spirit, was etched in the annals of Silicon Valley. His company, Blackwood Industries, a global powerhouse that had revolutionized the way people lived, worked, and interacted with the world. Tom was the quintessential entrepreneur, a visionary leader who had built his empire from the ground up, his relentless drive and sharp intellect propelling him to the pinnacle of success. He was a man who exuded confidence and control, his every action calculated, his every decision strategic, his every word carrying the weight of authority and expertise. He inhabited a world of luxury and privilege, his life a whirlwind of high-powered meetings, exclusive galas, and private jet journeys. He resided in a sprawling penthouse apartment overlooking the city, its floor-to-ceiling windows offering panoramic views of the bustling metropolis below. His wardrobe consisted of bespoke suits and designer accessories, his wrist adorned with a Patek Philippe watch that cost more than most people's cars. He was accustomed to getting what he wanted when he wanted it. His assistants catered to his every whim. His drivers navigated the city's congested streets with practiced ease. His personal chefs prepared gourmet meals that tantalized his palate. He was a man who had conquered the world of business, but in doing so, he had become somewhat detached from the everyday struggles of ordinary people. He had become, perhaps, a little too accustomed to his privileged bubble, a little too reliant on his wealth and influence to smooth out the wrinkles of life. He had forgotten the value of small acts of kindness, the importance of looking beyond oneself, the interconnectedness of human lives, the struggles and triumphs that bound people together regardless of their social standing. This detachment had also seeped into his personal life, creating an emotional distance that had eroded his relationships and left him feeling isolated and alone. His first marriage, a casualty of his relentless ambition and his inability to prioritize his personal life, had crumbled under the weight of his demanding schedule and his emotional unavailability. His subsequent relationships had been fleeting and superficial, his partners drawn to his wealth and status rather than his heart and soul. He had no children, his fear of commitment and his inability to connect on an emotional level preventing him from forming lasting bonds. He had few close friends, his relationships with his colleagues and acquaintances transactional and superficial. He had a family, a brother and a sister who lived in the small town where he had grown up, but he rarely contacted them, his guilt and shame about his past preventing him from reaching out and reconnecting with his roots. Despite his material wealth, the trappings of success that surrounded him, Tom felt a growing sense of isolation, a gnawing emptiness that his achievements couldn't fill. He yearned for genuine connection, for a sense of belonging, for something more meaningful than the acquisition of wealth and power. He longed to fill the void that had been growing within him, the emptiness that haunted his dreams and cast a shadow over his waking hours. One bustling afternoon, the city streets teeming with life, the air filled with the cacophony of honking horns, chattering pedestrians, and the distant sirens of emergency vehicles, Tom was rushing across a busy intersection, his mind preoccupied with an upcoming merger deal that could potentially double the size of his company and solidify his position as a titan of the tech industry. He barely registered the honking horns and screeching tires, his focus solely on the meeting ahead, his mind strategizing, calculating, and anticipating the complex negotiations that awaited him. He was a man used to navigating the world with a single-minded determination, his eyes fixed on his goals, his mind oblivious to the potential dangers lurking in his periphery. He strode across the intersection, his expensive leather shoes clicking against the pavement, his tailored suit exuding an aura of power and confidence. He was a man in control, a man who commanded respect, a man who expected the world to bend to his will. Suddenly, a small hand grabbed his arm, yanking him back with surprising force, disrupting his forward momentum and jolting him out of his preoccupied state. Tom stumbled, his briefcase clattering to the ground, its contents spilling onto the pavement, his expensive suit narrowly avoiding a collision with a speeding taxi that screeched to a halt just inches from his body. He looked down, startled and disoriented, his heart pounding in his chest, his mind struggling to process the sudden interruption to his carefully orchestrated world. He saw a young boy, no older than 10, his face smudged with dirt, his clothes ragged and worn, staring up at him with wide, worried eyes. "Watch out, mister," the boy exclaimed, his voice filled with concern. His small hand still gripping Tom's arm, his grip surprisingly strong. "You almost got hit." Tom, his heart still pounding from the near miss, his mind catching up with the reality of his close call, looked back at the street, now realizing how close he had come to disaster. The taxi that had nearly hit him sped away, its driver shaking his fist in frustration, his angry shouts swallowed by the cacophony of the city. Tom, shaken and humbled, his carefully constructed composure momentarily shattered, turned back to the boy, his gratitude overflowing, his voice thick with emotion. "Thank you," he said, his voice rough with emotion, his eyes meeting the boy's with a newfound appreciation for the fragility of life and the unexpected kindness of strangers. "You saved my life." The boy, dressed in clothes that had seen better days, his face bearing the marks of hardship and neglect, simply shrugged, his eyes darting nervously towards the ground, his demeanor a mixture of shyness and a quiet dignity that belied his circumstances. "It's okay, mister," he mumbled, his voice barely a whisper, his words lost in the din of the city. "I just did what anyone would do." Tom, his gaze lingering on the boy's worn shoes and threadbare clothes, his mind registering the stark contrast between his own privileged life and the boy's precarious existence, realized that he was a street urchin, one of the many homeless children who roamed the city, begging for scraps and seeking shelter wherever they could find it. He felt a pang of guilt, his own comfortable existence, his penthouse apartment, his expensive suits, his private jet, all suddenly feeling excessive and undeserved in the face of the boy's poverty and vulnerability. He felt a surge of compassion, a desire to help, to make amends for his own neglect of those less fortunate. He reached into his wallet, pulling out a $100 bill, its crispness a stark contrast to the boy's worn and dirty hands. He offered it to the boy, his voice filled with gratitude and a desire to repay the debt he felt he owed. "Here," he said, "take this, buy yourself something nice." The boy hesitated, his eyes widening in surprise, his gaze fixed on the money as if he had never seen such a large denomination before. He looked at the money, then back at Tom, his expression a mixture of disbelief and apprehension. He shook his head slowly, his voice barely a whisper, his refusal firm but respectful. "I can't take that, mister," he said, his voice filled with a quiet dignity that surprised and impressed Tom. "I just did what anyone would do." This small beggar, who had nothing, who lived a life of hardship and uncertainty, had saved his life and refused any reward. He had shown a selflessness and integrity that Tom, in his world of wealth and ambition, had rarely encountered. Intrigued by the boy's selfless act and his refusal of a reward, Tom decided to learn more about him. He couldn't simply walk away. His curiosity piqued, his conscience stirred by the boy's unexpected display of character. He knelt down, his expensive suit brushing against the grimy pavement, his action a symbolic gesture of humility and respect, and engaged the boy in conversation. "I'm truly grateful for what you did," he said, his voice sincere, his eyes meeting the boy's with a newfound respect. "You saved my life. I'd like to know more about you. What's your name?" The boy, his initial shyness giving way to a cautious openness, responded, "My name is Liam." "Liam?" Tom repeated, the name echoing in his mind, a symbol of the boy's resilience and his unexpected impact on Tom's life. "Tell me about yourself, Liam. Where are your parents?" Liam, his voice hesitant at first, his eyes darting around as if searching for an escape route, gradually opened up, his story unfolding like a fragile flower blooming in the harsh urban landscape. He had been living on the streets for as long as he could remember. His parents lost to a tragic accident when he was just a toddler. He had no family, no home, and no one to rely on but himself and the other street children he had befriended. He spoke of the challenges he faced, the hunger that gnawed at his stomach, the cold that seeped into his bones, the constant fear of danger and uncertainty that haunted his dreams. He spoke of the nights spent huddled in doorways, seeking shelter from the rain and the cold, the days spent scavenging for food and scraps, the constant struggle for survival that had become his reality. He spoke of the kindness of strangers, the occasional meal offered, the fleeting moments of compassion that kept him going. He spoke of the soup kitchens and shelters that provided temporary respite, the volunteers who offered a kind word and a helping hand, the small acts of humanity that reminded him that he was not entirely alone in the world. Tom listened intently, his heart aching for the boy's plight, his own privileged life a stark contrast to the harsh realities Liam had endured. He saw in Liam a reflection of his own childhood struggles, the hardships he had overcome, the resilience he had developed. But he also saw something more, a spark of hope and optimism that shone through Liam's weary eyes, a spirit that refused to be extinguished by the harsh realities of his life. He realized that Liam, despite his circumstances, had retained a sense of humanity, a compassion for others that transcended his own struggles. He had saved Tom's life, not for a reward, but because it was the right thing to do, an instinctive act of kindness that spoke volumes about his character. This revelation, this encounter with a selfless young boy who had nothing, shook Tom to his core. It challenged his assumptions about the world, his perception of human nature, his own values. It opened his eyes to the interconnectedness of human lives, the power of small acts of kindness, and the importance of looking beyond oneself, beyond the confines of one's own privileged bubble. He saw in Liam a reflection of his own forgotten past, the struggles he had endured, the resilience he had developed, the compassion he had once possessed but had buried beneath layers of ambition and self-interest. He saw in Liam a chance to reconnect with his own humanity, to rediscover the values that had been lost in his pursuit of success. He realized that his life, despite its material abundance, was lacking in something essential, something that Liam, despite his poverty and hardship, possessed in abundance. A connection to the human spirit, a compassion for others, a willingness to help without expecting anything in return. This realization sparked a desire within Tom to change, to become a better man, to rediscover the values he had lost, to connect with the world around him in a more meaningful way. He saw in Liam a catalyst for this transformation, a guide who could lead him back to his own humanity. Tom, deeply affected by Liam's story and his selfless act, made a decision that would change both their lives. He couldn't simply walk away, leaving Liam to fend for himself on the streets, his conscience burdened by the knowledge of the boy's plight. He felt a responsibility, a calling to help this boy who had saved his life, to offer him a chance at a better future. He offered Liam a place to stay, a room in his spacious penthouse apartment, a safe haven from the harsh realities of street life. He described his home, its comfortable furnishings, its warm bed, its abundance of food and amenities, a stark contrast to the cold, hard streets that Liam called home. He also offered to provide him with food, clothing, and education, a chance to break free from the cycle of poverty and hardship that had trapped him. He spoke of enrolling him in a prestigious school, hiring tutors to help him catch up on his education, and providing him with the resources and opportunities he needed to pursue his dreams. Liam, hesitant at first, his trust in adults eroded by years of neglect and hardship, his fear of disappointment and betrayal a constant companion, eventually accepted Tom's offer, his eyes filled with a mixture of hope and apprehension. He stepped into Tom's limousine, the luxurious interior a world away from the grimy streets he called home, his heart pounding with a mixture of excitement and uncertainty. The consequences of Tom's decision were immediate and far-reaching, rippling through his carefully ordered life like a stone thrown into a still pond. His pristine apartment, once a sanctuary of solitude and order, was now filled with the sounds of laughter and playful chatter, the remnants of Liam's explorations and discoveries scattered across the once immaculate floors. His assistants, accustomed to his regimented schedule and his solitary lifestyle, were bewildered by the sudden presence of a child in his life. They exchanged whispers and curious glances, their minds struggling to reconcile the image of the powerful and aloof CEO with the newfound role of guardian and mentor. His colleagues, intrigued by the change in his demeanor, his newfound warmth and openness, speculated about the reasons behind his transformation. They wondered about the boy's identity, his relationship to Tom, and the impact this unexpected development would have on Tom's leadership and the company's future. His social circle, a collection of socialites, entrepreneurs, and influential figures, buzzed with gossip and speculation. They questioned his motives, his sudden interest in a child from a vastly different background, their cynicism a reflection of their own detachment from the realities of poverty and inequality. Tom, however, was undeterred by the whispers and judgments, his heart filled with a newfound sense of purpose and a joy he had never known before. He found a sense of fulfillment in caring for Liam, in witnessing his transformation from a timid street urchin to a confident young boy. He enrolled Liam in a prestigious school, a world of opportunity and learning that had been inaccessible to him just a few weeks ago. He hired tutors to help him catch up on his education, their patient guidance and encouragement unlocking Liam's intellectual curiosity and his thirst for knowledge. He spent his evenings sharing stories and playing games with Liam, their laughter filling the once silent apartment, their bond deepening with each shared experience. He took Liam to museums and art galleries, exposing him to the wonders of human creativity and the richness of cultural heritage. He took him to parks and playgrounds, watching with delight as Liam rediscovered the joy of childhood, his laughter echoing through the trees, his spirit soaring with newfound freedom. He also began to reevaluate his own life, his priorities, and his values. He realized that his relentless pursuit of success had left him emotionally empty, his relationships superficial, his life lacking in meaning and connection. He had achieved material wealth and professional recognition, but he had neglected the deeper needs of his heart and soul. He began to make changes, prioritizing his relationship with Liam, reaching out to his estranged family, and seeking deeper connections with his friends. He carved out time in his busy schedule for family dinners, phone calls with his siblings, and outings with friends he had neglected for far too long. He found himself drawn to activities that fostered compassion and empathy, volunteering at homeless shelters, donating to charities that helped children in need, and using his influence to advocate for social justice and equality. He discovered a sense of fulfillment in giving back to his community, in making a difference in the lives of others, in using his privilege to create a more just and equitable world. While Tom was navigating the challenges and joys of his newfound role as a guardian, a crisis erupted at Blackwood Industries, a crisis that would test his leadership, his resilience, and his commitment to the company he had built from the ground up. A disgruntled former employee, fueled by resentment and a desire for revenge, had breached the company's security systems and leaked confidential data to a rival corporation. The leaked data included sensitive information about upcoming product launches, strategic partnerships, and financial projections, information that could jeopardize the company's competitive advantage and potentially cost it millions of dollars in lost revenue. The leak sent shockwaves through Blackwood Industries, its employees reeling from the betrayal, its investors panicking, and its reputation hanging in the balance. Tom, his usual confidence shaken, his carefully constructed image of control and invincibility shattered, found himself facing a crisis that threatened to unravel his empire. He had to act swiftly and decisively to contain the damage, to reassure his investors, and to restore public trust. He assembled a crisis management team, comprising his most trusted advisors, legal experts, and cybersecurity specialists. He launched an internal investigation, determined to identify the culprit and to understand the extent of the damage. He worked tirelessly, his days and nights consumed by the crisis, his mind racing to find solutions, his determination fueled by a sense of responsibility to his employees, his investors, and the company he had dedicated his life to building. He addressed his employees, his voice calm but firm, acknowledging the seriousness of the situation but also expressing his confidence in their ability to overcome the challenge. He reassured them that their jobs were secure, that the company was financially sound, and that he would do everything in his power to protect their interests and restore the company's reputation. He met with investors, his charisma and persuasive skills put to the test as he explained the situation, outlined his plan to mitigate the damage, and emphasized the company's long-term growth potential. He reassured them that the leak was an isolated incident, that the company had taken steps to strengthen its security systems, and that he was confident in their ability to weather the storm. He also engaged with the media, his public relations team carefully crafting his message, his interviews projecting an image of calm confidence and decisive leadership. He acknowledged the seriousness of the data breach, expressed his regret for the inconvenience caused to customers and partners, and emphasized the company's commitment to transparency and accountability. As the crisis at Blackwood Industries unfolded, Tom found solace and strength in his burgeoning relationship with Liam. The boy's presence in his life, a constant reminder of the simple joys and unconditional love that he had been missing, became a source of comfort and grounding amidst the turmoil. Tom, accustomed to a life of solitude and emotional detachment, found himself drawn to Liam's youthful energy, his infectious laughter, and his genuine affection. He cherished their evening conversations, their shared meals, and the quiet moments of connection they shared, reading books together, playing games, or simply enjoying each other's company. He delighted in Liam's progress at school, his growing confidence, and his infectious laughter. He thrived in his new environment, his intelligence and curiosity flourishing with the support and encouragement he received. He excelled in his studies, his natural aptitude for learning nurtured by the access to books, tutors, and educational resources that Tom provided. He made friends at school, his initial shyness giving way to a confident and outgoing personality. He discovered a passion for music and art, his creativity finding expression in piano lessons and painting classes. He also learned to trust and rely on Tom, his initial apprehension replaced by a deep affection and gratitude. He saw in Tom a father figure, a mentor, and a friend, a man who believed in him and supported his dreams. He felt safe and secure in Tom's presence, the fear of abandonment that had haunted him for so long gradually fading away. Their relationship was not without its challenges. Tom, accustomed to a life of control and independence, struggled to adapt to the demands of parenthood. He had to learn to be patient, to listen, to put Liam's needs before his own. He had to learn to balance his demanding career with his newfound responsibilities as a guardian, to make time for Liam amidst the pressures of running a global corporation. Liam, still carrying the scars of his past, struggled with insecurity and a fear of abandonment. He sometimes pushed Tom away, testing his boundaries, seeking reassurance that he wouldn't be discarded again. He would act out, misbehave, or withdraw into himself, his actions a reflection of his deep-seated fear of losing the love and stability he had found with Tom. But through these challenges, their bond grew stronger. Tom learned to be more present, more attentive, more emotionally available. He learned to express his affection, to offer comfort and reassurance, to be the father figure Liam needed. He learned to recognize Liam's emotional cues, to respond with patience and understanding, to provide the unconditional love and support that Liam craved. Liam, in turn, learned to trust and open up to Tom. He shared his fears and insecurities, his hopes and dreams. He found in Tom a safe haven, a source of unconditional love and support. He learned to express his emotions, to communicate his needs, and to trust that Tom would be there for him, no matter what. Their relationship became a testament to the transformative power of human connection, a bond that transcended their differences in age, background, and life experiences. They found in each other a sense of belonging, a connection that filled the void in their hearts, a love that healed their wounds and empowered them to face the challenges of life with courage and resilience. The company retreat, held at a luxurious mountain resort, was intended to be a respite from the stress and uncertainty of the recent data leak crisis. Tom, hoping to foster camaraderie and rebuild trust among his employees, had organized a weekend of team-building activities, outdoor adventures, and informal gatherings. He had also invited Liam to join him, eager to share this aspect of his life with the boy and to introduce him to the people who were an integral part of his professional world. Liam, excited to experience this new environment and spend time with Tom outside the confines of their usual routine, eagerly agreed. The retreat began with a sense of cautious optimism, the employees still reeling from the recent crisis but also eager to reconnect with their colleagues and enjoy the scenic beauty of the mountain resort. Tom, his usual formality replaced by a more relaxed and approachable demeanor, engaged with his employees, sharing stories, participating in team-building activities, and demonstrating his appreciation for their hard work and dedication. Liam, initially shy and reserved, gradually opened up, his infectious laughter and playful spirit charming the employees. He became the unofficial mascot of the retreat, his presence a reminder of the human element behind the company's success, a symbol of the values that Tom was striving to restore. The employees, touched by Liam's innocence and his genuine affection for Tom, responded with warmth and kindness. Their interactions with Liam a reminder of the importance of human connection and the value of family. They shared stories with him, played games with him, and included him in their activities, their hearts warmed by his presence. However, the idyllic atmosphere of the retreat was shattered when news broke of a devastating earthquake that had struck a nearby town. The earthquake had caused widespread damage, collapsing buildings, triggering landslides, and leaving many people injured and homeless. The employees, their initial joy and camaraderie replaced by shock and concern, gathered around the television, watching the news reports with growing horror. The images of the devastation, the stories of loss and suffering, filled them with a sense of helplessness and a desire to help. Tom, his heart aching for the victims of the disaster, felt a surge of responsibility to help. He had always been a man of action, a problem solver, a leader who took charge in times of crisis. But this crisis was different. It wasn't a business challenge, a financial setback, or a reputational threat. It was a human tragedy, a test of his compassion and his commitment to social responsibility. He announced that the company would be donating a significant sum to the relief efforts, a sum that would provide immediate aid to the victims and support the long-term recovery efforts. He also announced that they would be organizing a volunteer team to assist with the recovery efforts, offering their time, skills, and resources to help rebuild the devastated community. The employees, inspired by Tom's leadership and compassion, his actions speaking louder than any words, eagerly volunteered their time and resources. Their team spirit now focused on a humanitarian mission. They organized fundraising events, collected donations, and prepared to travel to the affected area to offer their assistance. The company's response to the earthquake, a testament to Tom's transformed leadership and the employees' shared commitment to social responsibility, became a powerful force for healing and unity. The shared experience of witnessing the devastation and the collective effort to help the victims fostered a sense of community and purpose, transcending the boundaries of their professional roles and uniting them in a common cause. The earthquake and the company's response to the disaster served as a catalyst for conflict resolution and healing within Blackwood Industries. The shared experience of witnessing the devastation and the collective effort to help the victims fostered a sense of unity and purpose among the employees, bridging the divides that had emerged in the wake of the data leak crisis. Tom, his leadership tested by the data leak and now strengthened by his compassionate response to the earthquake, emerged as a more empathetic and inspiring leader. He had learned the importance of putting people before profits, of prioritizing human connection and social responsibility. He had realized that true leadership was not just about achieving business goals, but also about inspiring and empowering others to make a positive impact on the world. He worked tirelessly to rebuild trust with his employees, communicating openly and honestly about the company's challenges and his commitment to creating a more ethical and responsible corporate culture. He held town hall meetings, inviting employees to share their concerns and suggestions, their voices contributing to the company's decision-making process. He addressed their grievances, acknowledging the company's past mistakes and outlining the steps he was taking to rectify the situation. He implemented their suggestions, empowering them to contribute to the company's transformation, their ideas shaping the new culture of transparency, accountability, and social responsibility. He also reached out to the disgruntled former employee who had leaked the company data, offering him a sincere apology and an opportunity to return to the company. He recognized that the employee's actions, while harmful, had stemmed from a sense of injustice and a lack of trust in the company's leadership. He saw in the employee's actions a reflection of his own past mistakes, his own neglect of the human element in his pursuit of success. The former employee, touched by Tom's humility and his commitment to change, accepted his apology and returned to Blackwood Industries, his resentment replaced by a renewed sense of loyalty and a desire to contribute to the company's success. He became an advocate for ethical conduct and transparency within the company, his voice a reminder of the importance of integrity and accountability. The company, under Tom's transformed leadership, emerged from the crisis stronger and more united. The data leak and the earthquake had served as a crucible, forging a new sense of purpose and a shared commitment to ethical conduct and social responsibility. The company had learned from its mistakes, its culture transformed by a renewed focus on its employees, its customers, and its impact on the world. The company's reputation was restored, its stock price rebounded, and its employees, inspired by Tom's example, embraced the new culture of transparency, collaboration, and compassion. They felt a renewed sense of pride in their work, their contributions now seen as part of a larger mission to make a positive impact on the world. They felt valued and respected, their voices heard, their ideas considered, their well-being prioritized. The conflict resolution process was not without its challenges. There were lingering resentments, doubts, and fears. Some employees remained skeptical of the company's commitment to change, their trust broken by years of neglect and disregard. They questioned the sincerity of the reforms, wondering if they were merely a public relations ploy to salvage the company's reputation. Some investors, focused on the bottom line, questioned the financial impact of the reforms, their concerns about profitability clashing with the company's newfound emphasis on social responsibility. They worried that the company's commitment to ethical conduct and environmental sustainability would erode its competitive advantage and diminish its financial returns. But through open dialogue, transparency, and a genuine commitment to change, the company and its employees were able to move forward, creating a more positive and productive working environment. The company held town hall meetings, inviting employees to share their concerns and suggestions, their voices contributing to the company's decision-making process. They established a confidential hotline for employees to report safety violations, ethical concerns, and any instances of misconduct. They created an ethics committee, comprised of employees from all levels of the company, to review policies, investigate complaints, and ensure that the company's actions aligned with its stated values. They implemented a diversity and inclusion program, promoting a more welcoming and inclusive workplace for all employees, regardless of their race, gender, sexual orientation, or background. They recognized the value of diversity, the strength that comes from different perspectives and experiences, and the importance of creating a workplace where everyone feels respected, valued, and empowered to contribute their best work. DeAndre's story, the catalyst for this transformation, became a symbol of the company's commitment to change. His image was featured in the company's annual report, his story shared with new employees during orientation, his actions a reminder of the importance of courage, integrity, and social responsibility. The company's transformation extended beyond its internal operations. It became a leader in corporate social responsibility, partnering with community organizations, supporting environmental initiatives, and advocating for social justice. It became a model for other companies, demonstrating that it is possible to achieve both profitability and social responsibility, that ethical conduct and business success are not mutually exclusive. The earthquake and its aftermath marked a turning point in Tom's life, a profound shift in his priorities and a deepening of his commitment to social responsibility and human connection. He had discovered a new sense of purpose, a calling to use his wealth and influence to make a positive impact on the world, to contribute to the betterment of society, and to leave a legacy that extended beyond his business achievements. He established a foundation to support disaster relief efforts, fund education initiatives, and promote social justice. He poured his resources into the foundation, ensuring that it had the financial means to make a real difference in the lives of those in need. He assembled a team of experts, individuals with a passion for social change and a deep understanding of the challenges facing communities around the world. He funded disaster relief efforts, providing immediate aid to victims of natural disasters, supporting the rebuilding of communities, and investing in long-term recovery programs. He remembered the images of the devastated town, the stories of loss and suffering, and he felt a deep sense of responsibility to help those who had been affected by tragedy. He funded education initiatives, providing scholarships to underprivileged students, supporting the development of innovative educational programs, and advocating for greater investment in early childhood education. He believed that education was the key to breaking the cycle of poverty, to empowering individuals, and to creating a more just and equitable society. He promoted social justice, supporting organizations that fought for equality, advocated for the rights of marginalized communities, and worked to dismantle systemic oppression. He used his platform to speak out against injustice, to challenge prejudice, and to promote a more inclusive and compassionate world. He also continued to nurture his relationship with Liam, their bond strengthened by the shared experience of the earthquake and the company's response to the disaster. He saw in Liam a reflection of his own potential for compassion and empathy, a reminder of the importance of human connection and the power of love to heal and transform. He dedicated more time to Liam, sharing his passions, his interests, and his dreams with the boy. He took Liam on trips around the world, exposing him to different cultures, different perspectives, and the beauty and diversity of the human experience. He encouraged Liam's intellectual curiosity, his love of learning, and his passion for music and art. He supported Liam's dreams, providing him with the resources and opportunities he needed to pursue his passions. He enrolled him in music lessons, art classes, and summer camps, nurturing his talents and encouraging his creativity. He saw in Liam a reflection of his own potential, the potential he had suppressed for so long in his pursuit of wealth and power. This turning point marked a shift in Tom's focus, from the pursuit of personal success to the pursuit of a more meaningful and fulfilling life. He had discovered that true wealth lay not in material possessions but in the richness of human connection and the positive impact he could have on the world. He had found a sense of purpose that transcended the pursuit of wealth and power, a purpose that grounded him in his values and connected him to the human experience. He had also discovered a new sense of freedom, a liberation from the expectations and pressures of the corporate world. He no longer felt the need to prove himself, to strive for recognition and validation. He had found a deeper sense of self-worth, a confidence that stemmed from his authenticity, his vulnerability, and his commitment to living a life of integrity and compassion. He embraced his newfound freedom, exploring new interests and passions. He took up photography, capturing the beauty of the world around him through his lens. He learned to play the guitar, his fingers finding solace in the chords and melodies that expressed his emotions and his newfound connection to his soul. He spent time in nature, hiking through forests, kayaking on lakes, and marveling at the beauty and complexity of the natural world. He reconnected with his childhood love of literature, immersing himself in the works of great authors, finding inspiration and wisdom in their words. He traveled the world, not in the luxury of private jets and five-star hotels, but with Liam, exploring different cultures, experiencing the diversity of human experience, and broadening his understanding of the world. He found joy in the simple things, the everyday moments of connection and shared laughter, the quiet intimacy of their life together. He found fulfillment in giving back to his community, in supporting causes that aligned with his values, in making a difference in the lives of others. He had discovered that true happiness lay not in material possessions or external validation but in the richness of human connection, the pursuit of personal growth, and the contribution to something larger than oneself. Tom's journey from a self-absorbed millionaire to a compassionate philanthropist and devoted guardian was a testament to his capacity for growth and transformation. He had confronted his emotional detachment, embraced his newfound role as a father figure, and discovered the true meaning of success and fulfillment. He had learned the importance of human connection, the value of empathy and compassion. He had shed his self-centeredness, his focus on personal gain, and embraced a more altruistic worldview. He had learned to see the world through the eyes of others, to understand their struggles, to share their joys, and to connect with them on a deeper level. He had also learned the importance of taking responsibility for his actions, of making amends for his mistakes, and of using his privilege and influence to create positive change. He had discovered that true success lies not in the accumulation of wealth and power, but in the positive impact one has on the lives of others, in the contributions one makes to the betterment of society. Reflecting on his journey, Tom recognized the transformative power of adversity. The challenges he had faced, both personal and professional, had forced him to confront his deepest fears and insecurities, to reevaluate his priorities, and to embrace a new direction for his life. He had learned that adversity, while painful and challenging, could also be a catalyst for growth, a crucible that forged strength, resilience, and compassion. He was grateful for the lessons he had learned, the growth he had experienced, and the people who had supported him along the way. He cherished his relationship with Liam, his newfound family, a bond that had filled the void in his heart and given him a sense of belonging he had never known before. He was grateful for the friends and colleagues who had stood by him during his journey of transformation, their support and encouragement reminding him that he was not alone. He was grateful for the opportunity to use his experiences to inspire others, to advocate for change, and to contribute to a more just and equitable society. He had come to appreciate the simple things in life, the joy of shared moments, the beauty of nature, and the satisfaction of making a difference in the world. He had found a sense of peace and contentment he had never known before, a fulfillment that transcended the trappings of wealth and power. He had discovered that true happiness lies not in material possessions or external validation, but in the richness of human connection, the pursuit of personal growth, and the contribution to something larger than oneself. He had found meaning and purpose in his life, a purpose that grounded him in his values and connected him to the human experience. Tom's story is a powerful testament to the transformative power of human connection and the importance of finding meaning and purpose beyond material pursuits. It highlights the capacity for change and growth, even in those who seem to have it all, and reminds us that true wealth lies not in material possessions but in the richness of our relationships and the positive impact we have on the world. His journey underscores the importance of looking beyond ourselves, of recognizing the interconnectedness of human lives, and of valuing the small acts of kindness that can make a big difference. It encourages us to embrace vulnerability, to connect with others on a deeper level, and to seek fulfillment in giving back to our communities and making a difference in the lives of others. Tom's story is an inspiration to us all, a reminder that it is never too late to change, to grow, and to find true meaning and purpose in life. It is a story about the power of human connection to heal, to inspire, and to transform. A story that reminds us that true wealth lies in the richness of our relationships and the positive impact we have on the world. It is a story that challenges us to reevaluate our own priorities, to look beyond the pursuit of material wealth and status, and to seek fulfillment in the connections we forge with others and the contributions we make to the world around us. It encourages us to embrace our shared humanity, to recognize the interconnectedness of all beings, and to find meaning and purpose in our lives beyond our individual pursuits. Tom's story reminds us that we all have the potential for growth and transformation, that even those who seem to have it all may be harboring deep-seated longings and unfulfilled needs. It encourages us to open our hearts to love, to embrace our vulnerability, and to seek the connection and belonging that we all crave. It is a story that celebrates the resilience of the human spirit, the ability to overcome adversity, to learn from our mistakes, and to emerge stronger and more compassionate. It reminds us that even in the face of challenges and setbacks, we can find the strength to change, to grow, and to create a more fulfilling life for ourselves and for those around us. Tom's story is a beacon of hope, a reminder that it is never too late to find love, to build a family, and to make a positive impact on the world. It is a story that inspires us to embrace our potential, to connect with others, and to live a life filled with purpose, meaning, and love.